Hey YouTube, it's Old Prime 13 coming at you with another Transformers video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the third-party Laser Cat Toys Volcanicus set. So here we do have our individual Dinobots, and this is a very interesting third-party company. They did do the chibi-fied Rise of the Beast Optimus and Nemesis Prime, and then they started doing combiners with Predaking. I did get their Predaking like a couple weeks, the reissue that came out like a couple weeks before these guys dropped, and their Bruticus pre-order just hit on Shozy Store, so that should be coming within the next couple weeks. But yeah, I will say that between their Predaking and these guys, the quality did go down a little bit, and by that I mean some of the joints are a little too stiff, and some of the connection parts on the combiner mode were actually so tight that I had to disassemble a couple parts and hammer Swoop out because he was stuck so badly I couldn't get him out. I literally had to remove this screw here and take this arm joint out and hammer, like lightly hammer Swoop until he came off, just to get him off. And then I had to spend like a good 20 minutes trying to properly sand down Swoop and Slug arms connection points just to get them to the point where they would come out on their own. I wouldn't have to do that again. So this one does have some slight issues compared to their initial combiner in Predaking, who I do want to do a review for him too, but this one is the newer one, so I figured I should do him first. Yeah, and the ball joints for the feet are actually incredibly stiff, and this is after I've oiled them up like quite a bit. So, but yeah, just some of the things are just too snug. But we do have our little combiner bits here formed into like their own separate robot. I think it's cool that they can do that. But yeah, there is all the Volcanicus pieces. We'll put him off to the side. Almost forgot to grab this. But now that we've gotten all the caveats out of the way, let's take a quick look at the box. And here we do have some nice artwork of our chibi Dinobots. And I will say, the faces are something. Grimlock isn't too big of a deal. Slug isn't so bad, but Sludge and Snarl definitely look a bit odd with the way their faces are sculpted. We do get this Velcro flap so that you can see the figures inside, and there is this little bit of line art up here. We got our legal jargon on the bottom. We get this little logo word here, Mini Asura, which is their name for this Volcanicus set. Same thing on the other side. We do get some look at the Dinobots' heads here, and I don't know if these are supposed to be their names or not. I haven't really looked into it too much, but we know who these guys are. And here we have some more of that artwork, and then we have a picture of the combined Volcanicus. And I think that's it for the box. And then we do get this big old instruction sheet. So it is double-sided. So there is that. But let's start with a look at the individual bots. Oh, thank you so much for falling off the table. Give me a second. Okay, so first we will look at Snarl. And they do each come with their own gun and blade. The Predaking set only came with individual guns and then one big sword for the combiner. But we do get these combining swords, all done in a translucent red. So there is that. And then of course we do get his little pistol. Again, here is the odd sculpting of the head with the giant red eyes and the super chubby cheeks. It does look a bit odd. But yeah, and these guys are fully articulated. They are very well done little figures, and like everything is very stiff in the joints. Again, sometimes a little too stiff. But yeah, they are fully functioning bots on their own as well. So, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just leave the sword bits off to the side. Here we have Slug. And his face isn't as bad. He's got a growling, angry face with his visor. And again, he's got his own gun and his own sword. So we're going to just take that away. And that's the arm connection point for the combiner right there. His frill does also just kind of move freely. So there's that. And we'll go over here. Then we got Swoop. Go ahead and take his. And yeah, he's got like a puffy-cheeked sort of I'm hiding cookies in my mouth looking face. So yeah, it does have the nice big wings, which similar to their Predaking, these wings do come off and attach to the back of the combiner. But yeah, this is the post that I had to sand down a whole bunch. So if you do get this, and I did make a post about it when I first got him, just haven't had time to get around to the review with everything else that's been coming out. But definitely sand down those pegs, because this is not a just me problem. I looked, it is somewhat common. So, and then of course we got Sludge, got his big old neck and dino head there on the back, and yeah, his face is kind of creepy with that smiley face. One thing about these two, Snarl and Sludge, is their helmets come off and they have rotating heads for different faces. This one is a pouty, crying looking face, which I think looks even worse. So I just keep it on this side. There is a bit of a downside to this because the helmet here is actually the knee connection point. And when they're in combiner mode, it's all, you know, pretty snug together, but when you try and take them apart, the helmet just pops off with the leg. Or with the thigh, I should say. So that is a little bit of a downside, but it's not a huge issue because you just like pop this back off and put it back on his actual head. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show that he has it too. And again, it's a different sculpt. This one is kind of like shouting in surprise. Yeah. I prefer the other face slightly more. Prefer may not be the right word. And then of course we have Grimlock, who gets the handle of the sword as a giant axe, which is pretty neat. And of course he does come with his signature blaster. And then he does come with his crown. The only issue I have with the crown is there's nowhere to store it in his other modes. It does not go on the combined mode or the T-Rex anywhere. So if he's not in robot mode, he's just kind of hanging around, unlike everything else. But it is what it is. But yeah, the overall sculpt and everything is very nice. I do like his little head. Again, he does have those traditional Grimlock features. Does have the paint on his shins. He does have the T-Rex wings with the little arms and the big head. Literally, big head. Very adorable T-Rex. Um, but yeah, and again, these guys are all completely independent bots on their own. They, have full articulation and everything. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of do a general articulation thing, because again, for the most part, it's all the same. They all have ball jointed hands. They do all have like a sort of ankle tilt, just like right at the toe. They do all have the sort of universal hips. Actually, I think the little guys might have ball jointed hips. Yeah, these guys got ball jointed hips. The smaller ones do. They all have proper like 90 degrees at the knees. They all have proper waists. They all have ball jointed heads. So, yeah, because this video is going to be like 20 minutes longer if I do their articulation individually. And for some reason I keep dropping Grimlock. But, I guess we can go ahead and start transforming them into their dino modes. And again, we will start with Snarl. So we're going to go ahead and take his gun away. And you want to rotate his hands up and push them up like so. Rotate his hands and push them up. Sort of straighten out his arms into the legs. We are going to open up his chest and just sort of push his head in, and you can close this up, and that's how it locks up for the combined mode as well. And then his shoulders are on these rotating pieces, so you're going to push those forward like so. And then we are going to lift these pieces out from his leg, which are going to form the dino head. And then we want to rotate his waist around. Oh, what? No, do we not? Oh, I think we just rotate it at the knee. Yeah, and then you're just going to use that. There's a rotation joint right at the knee. You're going to fold these around. You're going to bring them together. Actually, let's move his arms back out of the way just so we can see. Yeah, bring these together like so. Make sure. It feels like it's not going on the right way. Make sure that the head is all lined up, and then bring these other little legs forward. And then we just want to rotate his tail out on this ball joint, and we're going to bring it together down the middle, and then we just kind of, it's on a little slider, and we'll push in. And there we have him in his Stegosaurus mode, and we can just put the gun right here on his back. And there is Snarl transformed. Now let's do Slug. Again, take the gun out of his hand, rotate his hand down and push it in, rotate it down and fold it in. Just sort of straighten out those arms. And we do want to open up his dino mouth, and we are going to rotate his head up. Come on. This is where. There we go. And that's going to hide away in the roof of his mouth like so. And we are essentially going to do the same thing here. Rotate the legs 180 at the hip. Bring out these tail pieces. Straighten them out. And you're going to rotate these inward onto themselves. And then you're going to slide over these little tabs here. make sure that the tail tabs together as well. Just fold this up, and this one, there's like a little gap here that these are supposed to, there's a little, I don't know how well you can see it. There's like little, this middle part is supposed to go in between the joints, and sometimes it does not like to super easily. So I'm trying to get it in there. Okay, we'll just do it this way then. There. You want to come apart. There. And then we fold these down and bring the foot out. Rotate this down. Fold the foot out. And then again, we rotate the arms backwards like so. And now we have him in his Triceratops mode, and we can just plug the gun in on his back like so. And there is our Triceratops. Then we will do Sludge. Again, we take away his gun, rotate the hands like so. And you always want to make sure that the back of the hand is the part touching the ground because it's sculpted flat. And he is essentially the same as Snarl because he is the other leg. So you want to fold his head in, close this up, bring the dino head forward, gonna rotate his legs around, fold out the tail pieces, and start folding the legs in on themselves. Make sure that we get everything lined up as we bring it all together. Now, rotate these arm pieces back. Rotate it back. Fold out these little legs. And this is again on that little slider. Then we just rotate the head around. And there we have our long neck brachiosaur, whichever one you want to assign to this. And now swoop. So you can put his guns in his hands, but I always think he looks better with them on his wings. So that's where I keep them. But you want to stretch out his wings. And then again with a typical swoop, you want to lift up his dino head, and it tabs into his forehead right here, like so. Then gonna rotate his hand and fold it in. Rotate his hand and fold it in. And then for, let's see, this one, we want to rotate this around. We're going to fold out his little feet, his little dino feet. Again, we want to fold this up and fold this up. And these ones don't actually tab together, so you don't need to worry about lining them up. Just need to get the back part. I'm actually going to take this off so you can see clearly, but it is essentially the exact same transformation as the other ones. These guys are a little more cookie cutter than the Predacons were. But then you want to fold his elbows up like this, and then you're going to rotate his shoulder on these pieces back, and then there's a little tab and slot right here, right there. Do the same on this side, fold this all together. And then, yeah, we just put the wings back on. And there we have our Pteranodon swoop. And I forgot to give Sludge his weapon back. So there's that. Anyway. And finally we have Grimlock, who is the core of the body. So we're going to go ahead and again take away his little gun, rotate his hand and fold it away, rotate his hand and fold it away, straighten out those arms, and they do like compress a little bit because he has some double joints in his elbows. And then we are going to bring these panels out. Bring these panels out. What the heck? There we go. And these are on a slider. Want to open this up, the back of his legs. Oh yeah, we do want to compress his head into his chest a little bit. And I think we need to fold this over. No, that can't be right. This whole, there we go, get that up out of the way. And we want to fold these tail pieces out like so, and that will give them room to flip around as we fold the rest of the leg up and around as well. Again, a lot of these joints are very stiff because they have to be a combiner, but sometimes they're a little bit too stiff. Get this out of the way. I think I have to move this. Ow! Back up. Okay. And we do the same on the other side. Come on. Get this out and around. And fold this whole leg assembly up and around. There we go. Then we bring them together in the middle. And I need these pieces out to the side. Make sure things are tabbing together. There we go. I think. There. Oh, right. We also have to fold his crotch piece down like so. Then we can fold these pieces inward, close them up, and you actually have to put this piece first since it has the tab side on it. There we go. Fold this piece over it. There we go. Then yeah, these we rotate so that these tabs are facing like so. Close this armature up, and you line it up, and there are two slots on the sides that it will tab into. Then here you want to rotate the arms so that these shoulder pieces are facing straight down, like so. Then we're going to rotate this up on a double hinge. Feel like that's not all the way down. Okay, yeah. We do want to straighten these wing pieces out. Ah, crap, I forgot. We do need to... Got this all out of order. Open these up. We want to make sure that these are back so that these pieces can clear. And you'll see that they tab in right there. And now when you rotate this forward, it'll lock that into place. And we do want to get the head in there because this tabs in right here. And we rotate the dyno head into proper orientation. And there's that just sliding off because it's just on a friction rotation. But now we again make sure that's straight down. Then we want to come up here to this assembly. We need to fold these two skirt pieces up, fold this up, and then this tab is going to go into this big hole right here. And now we can put these together like so. Again, you gotta be careful of those sliders. There we go. And this can come forward. And now we have our little chibi Grimlock. And we can just put his gun... Where does this gun go? I forgot. What the heck? I forgot where this freaking gun goes. Crap. I thought it was supposed to go on his back. Alright. I forgot. This, like, folds out. I think it hooks on somewhere. Oh, no, I remember now. This square hole goes on the top of here. Like that. Anyway, there are our little adorable dinosaurs. So yeah, I really do like the dino modes a lot. They are super adorable. Got Swoop here, and again, he's got his little rocket launchers. His wings are posable. So there's that. He does have his little ball-jointed toesies. Not too much articulation in these modes, but yeah, this guy does have ball-jointed toes. So there's that. And his mouth does open. So there's that. Then Sludge, again, we do get an opening mouth. And I think he might be one of the cutest ones. This is so adorable. Yeah. But yeah, they all have ball jointed legs, and they still retain their like arm articulation, and they do get a joint in their back legs. So you do get some posability in the dino modes. They are super cute. Again, same here. This guy does have some ball joints on his front feet, since his arms are the back legs. Do kind of get some movement in the tail if you wanted to like straighten it out. It's just on these double ball joints that it it's tabbed together. Again, I do think they all have opening mouths. His doesn't come open super far, but it does open. And of course, this one has an opening mouth because that's where his head goes. Again, the frill is sort of loose. It just kind of hangs out. Yeah, you do get that. Again, same articulation there on the legs. And Grimlock does, again, he does have double joints here for his arms, so you do get some posability in those legs. Obviously, his little T-Rex arms can move around a little bit. They are on ball joints, but the rest of it is a solid piece. So they do get a little chumpy mouth. Opens about that far. Can give you little nibbles. And no real motion in the tail, unfortunately. But yeah, there we have our little set of Dinobots. Whoop. And I just knocked my light over. Anyway, I will go fix that. Anyway, now we can move on to the combined mode. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come here to this little assembly, which doesn't like to stay together because for some reason these foot tabs are not the most secure. But it's just for like the storage of the parts. But yeah, we want to take the feet off, and you want to rotate these around, but it's really hard to do with just your bare hands. And again, this is after I've oiled them. There we go. And hang on. I need my shirt to grip this a little better. So you want to make sure that the little tab is facing backwards. And we just slide these hand pieces out. Slide this out. And we are going to rotate the head around to the other side. And now we have our combiner parts ready. So we're going to start with Snarl here. First thing we're going to do is we are going to take his gun. And then we are going to rotate his head around and turn it backwards like this. And just sort of set it like that. And then we do want to pull on, or actually we want to untab these parts here, and I think we want to from here and from here. Then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think we just want to tab his legs back together here, but I'm not 100% sure. I do know we need to pull down on his waist to expose the combiner elbow. Actually, I do think we want to keep these in the position they were in. We do need to untab them to unlock it from the rest of the body, though. Yeah, after we do that, we just fold this up like so, and just sort of tuck those legs back up, like so. Feel like something I'm forgetting here. Maybe. Then we do want to, these little tabs right here are going to go into this little slot right here. So we just want to make sure we line that up. And just get that in there. I feel like I'm forgetting something here. But don't remember for sure. Test it by. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely forgetting something. Crap, I can't remember. Alright, I'm gonna have to go look. This review's kind of been on the backlog for a little while, so that's why. Okay, so yeah, I was right before. This needs to be flipped around like this. I was just misremembering how the hand attaches, and that confused me. So yeah, now that we're at this point, the way the hand works is this. You can see there are two grooves, and this slides over those grooves like so. Actually, I think I have this head rotated the wrong way. Yeah, that's the attachment point. Anyway, there we have our first arm. And we'll do a swoop for our other arm. We're going to take the wings off and set them off to the side. And then for the most part, he is also the same. We just want to separate these legs here so we can pull down the arm joint. We're just going to tab them back together. And we just fold these little feet up. And then, since this is the left arm, I want to make sure it's oriented in the right way. And again, just the grooves, and it slides on like so. Wait, no, that's not the right one. Pretty sure I'm making these. There we go. Yeah, you can hear that plastic squeaking because, again, it needs to be tight for the combined mode, but some of it's a little too tight. So there we have our other arm. Now we will do the legs. We're going to take the gun off. That reminds me, do we actually need to take these guns off of the wings? So now we're going to pop this out on that slider. And we're going to move that back over like so. And then this, I believe we just want to fold up. Just kind of rotate these like so. Rotate them like so. And then we do want to open this red part. And we're going to take the foot, and again, it just slides on those rails like so. Being difficult, or there we go. That on there. Just leave that part open. Like so. Here we have one leg done. And again, we take the gun away. Pull this up, fold it over. And fold his little head up. Just fold these little legs up out of the way. Fold this down. And slide that foot piece onto those rails again. Like so. Then we come to Grimlock here. Again, take the gun. Then, so for this, I'm going to split his tail. I want to lift this whole piece up. And we're just going to take these out to the side. And then, come on. Oh, right, gotta open these down here. So that we can not get this out. Come on. Is that why? What the heck? Why aren't you moving? Why is it stuck? Oh, that's why I'm trying to move it at the wrong part. There we go. Okay. Move this back around, and then we want to fold this. Basically turning the robot legs back into the robot legs. So I want to go here and have this back together. Get this out of the way. And fold this back around. Put that back in. Fold this back. Like so. Then we are going to fold his little robot toes a little further in this time. If I remember correctly, we need to leave these out because they sit in a slightly different position. Then, let's see. This whole assembly needs to come down. This folds out. And the robot legs do come out to the side, and there is an extra hinge here that they bend at, like so. And like so. Alright. I'm trying to remember. That's not that. Okay. Right, we do need to split open his dyno chest. There we go. Come on. Yeah. Get that out of the way. I believe we need to bring it up. Forgetting my steps again. I think I'm supposed to do it like this, but crap. I'm just gonna go check. So yeah, sorry about that. I had everything lined up right. It just seemed like it wasn't fitting together, and I was taking so long. My camera battery died, so I decided I'm just gonna reshoot this whole little Grimlock part. Anyway, so to get Grimlock into the combined form, the first thing we are gonna do is we're gonna come back here. We want to pull these panels back. I'm going to split the tail down the middle, and then we do want to open up these little panels down here. Just move those legs out of the way real fast, and then we do want to move this hip piece back into place, and then we are going to rotate his legs back out, and we do want to fold that tail back in like so, and just get that around because we want to put it back in to the leg compartment here. And we're just going to close this back up and make sure that this tab goes into that slot. Sure, there we go. Just bring this toe piece down a little bit. Then we're going to take the leg and we are going to bring it straight out to the side, and there's an additional joint here that will bend like so, just so we get a slightly wider stance. And excuse me, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just want to get all of this going, get that tail piece. Come on. Just come around. There we go. Get back in there. Make sure that lines up and tabs together like so. Bring that toe down, and we want to bring this up and bend it at that angle like so. And then for these panels, we are going to put them on the slider all the way back, and actually we want to rotate them around so that the tabs are on the lower side, then do that. And we just kind of leave it here like so. They're just kind of hanging out, but that's what the instructions say. Now we want to come up here and untab this back section, and we are going to unfold these pieces, and then this little black piece right here, right there. And let me angle that a little better. That piece is going to come out, and it's going to tab in right here into his butt, and that will form the crotch armor. Then we are going to rotate these down, so that we can open up the dino wings. And then we're going to rotate his head around. And we do want to make sure that we straighten out this part here. And then we are going to bring this whole assembly down, and there are 2 tabs and 2 slots on each side. And we're just going to make sure that's plugged in like so. Then we're going to take the legs, and we want to rotate these shoulder pieces all the way back so that these are sticking out as far as possible. And then it wants you to rotate these around like so. Rotate the legs so that the dino toes are facing up. Make sure that they are completely compressed. And then this little hole is going to slot over this little tab right here. And this is the part that was really confusing me, because it seemed like there wasn't the right amount of clearance, but there was, and I was just confused. But you're going to tab those together like so. Then we are going to bring in the combiner head, and what we're going to do is these tabs on his shoulders are going to go into these slots right here. I'm going to bring this whole thing, and there is this gap here for his robot head. So bring it down like so, and just tab those on. Don't be surprised if it comes untabbed a little bit. Then we are going to bring these parts around, and you can see that there is sort of this gap here, and that's where we want the dino bits, or the wing pieces to go. And you want to fold it around his foot, and it's going to come around like so and sit there like that. And we're going to do that on the other side. Just make sure that we get that all nestled in there. And this might take a little bit of wiggling, fiddling. Anyway, now that we have that done, we are going to, oh, this didn't come all the way. Yeah, we want to make sure this black part is flat. Then we're going to bring these down, and this section, this little slot right here, is going to go on these big tabs on his cheeks. Like this, and like this. And there we have our core body. So there is that, and now we can start combining everything. So again, this gap here is going to slot onto his feet like this. And just push that all the way in. And close that up, and then we can just straighten that out, and there is your first leg. Oh, I almost forgot that these are actually supposed to tab in. We want to rotate these around, I think. Yeah, we want to try to remember exactly how it works. I think it's like this. Because, yeah, there's these little tabs here that are going to go. This little tab here is going to go right in there. And I am trying to remember the proper way to line it up. There we go. Like that. Then we'll just add a little bit more stabilization into the whole mix. Anyway, there's that. And then we'll bring in the other leg, and again we'll do the same thing. Just wanna set and see, this is what I mean by the helmet coming off. It's literally the attachment point. But again, it doesn't come apart until you try and detach the legs, because everything closes up and locks it into place. So we're gonna bring that. Forgot that there is a little tab slot connection here in the Bronto neck that doesn't really seem to want to work right now. There we go. Nope. Anyway, close this up, and then we can just again slot those little tabs in on the sides to make sure that those arms aren't just flopping around. There we go. And there we have his legs all done. And now we can do his arms. And these little tab piece here just slots into this. And again, I did have to sand them down on both arms to get them to be able to come back out. Because now they will slide back out. This shoulder piece will stop moving. So yeah, but yeah, if you're like putting it in and it seems excessively tight, just sand it down. You're gonna save yourself a lot of trouble later. But yeah, and then I forgot these ones also have the little armature tabs, which I think these ones sit at an angle. Yeah, because there's the little tab slot bit there again, like so. And then swoop, I had to sand down a lot more, but again, I finally got him to a point where he will slide in and out relatively smoothly. He's still a little bit snug, but there is that. Then we come around to the back, and there's this big tab here, and we can just slide Swoop's wings on there like so. And I personally like to fold them up like this. But there is that, and then there are a couple more things we got to do. We got to take the guns. So first of all, we want to take the blasters for swoop. Plug on over this. Pretty sure it's new. They plug over these parts like so. And then those will plug on to Grimlock's gun like so. And then this part will come in and it'll slide it because there's a tab slot here, and then these will go here like this. And I will say their guns go together a little bit better than Predaking's did. And then we can fold out this big handle. So there is his gun. And then again, we do get all the combining swords. So first of all, we want to take these two, and there is these two little posts. I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, you want to put the like hexagon parts together like so. And this, I believe, will slide in here. Yes, like so. And then you just put them together like this. What the heck? Not supposed to be that hard to get them to go together. I think I'm doing this wrong or anything. There we go. Like that. And then we'll just take this and stick it in here. And there we have the big sword put together. And again, the crown just doesn't do anything right now. But there we have him all combined, and we can give him his weapons by putting these tab slots in the palms. Come on. There we go. And he does have slightly articulated hands. He does have a ball jointed thumb. And then the trigger 3-finger split, which they are based on ball joints. Not fully articulated, but there is some movement there. And again, we can just give him the gun in the same manner, tabbing it into his palm. Like so. And there we have our mini Ashura, aka Chibi Volcanicus, all put together. And he does look nice. He does look very nice. Very fun figure all together. Again, there are a couple issues here and there, but overall I do still really enjoy this figure, and I am very much looking forward to their Bruticus, which should be on the way very soon. Oh, I totally forgot to mention the collector's cards. We do get one for each robot. They're the same on the back, but we do get one for each bot. And we have Slug, Sludge, Snarl, Grimlock, and Swoop. And then we do actually get an extra one for Volcanicus, the combined mode. I think that's pretty neat that they threw an extra one in there. And speaking of little extras, you do get this little cat's paw with these little buttons. I don't know if these are just supposed to be like fidget clicky buttons, because the buttons don't do anything. But there is a purpose to this. This is actually the Predaking one, which is like a slightly silver, whereas the one that came with this guy is actually a dark gray, but it's still in a bag somewhere. But they both do the same thing, because let's see, it has the magnet to turn on the lights in the head. Yes, he does have light up eyes. So that is also super neat. And we'll do a quick comparison here. Here he is next to their Predaking, which still is an awesome figure as well. We'll go ahead and light him up so that they look all awesome together. And I do want to bring in one regular comparison here. Just to show you how they scale, here is the Studio Series Grimlock mold. This is obviously the comic edition, but you can see that they are definitely mini-sized for combiners. But again, they are a ton of fun. Just an absolute blast. Really love these guys. And again, they're really neat. I really enjoyed their Predaking. This is the first Predaking I've managed to get. And technically this is only my second Volcanicus behind the Power of the Primes, but this one is definitely a more solid build. That one from the Power of the Primes always felt like it was going to fall over and explode, so I just decided to take it apart and display them individually. But now I got a new Ashura Volcanicus, Dino King, whatever you want to call him, to display like this. But again, there are a couple of small issues. Some of the joints on this guy are a little bit too tight. Again, I've oiled up the ball joints in the feet. They are still very stiff. It's not as bad when you have them connected because you have a little bit more leverage. But like trying to adjust it to put it into the little mini combine mode with the just the parts, it's really noticeable. Again, I did have to sand down both of the arm connection points because they were just so ridiculously tight. And again, I actually had to take the shoulder piece out and like use a hammer to tap this piece off of swoop the first time I put them together. So yeah, there are definitely some small issues with this one that I did not really experience with their Predaking. Maybe that's because the Predaking I got was the reissue. I don't know for sure, but I definitely have noticed that other people have had the same issues with this guy and his overly stiff joints. But other than that, he's a great figure, and you know, with just a little bit of adjustment and sanding, he is very acceptable. And again, I really look forward to what else LaserCat is going to put out, because again, they are still doing some more combiners. The Bruticus is about to come out. They got a Superion on the way. They're also planning on doing Beast Wars Megatron and Optimus Primal. I believe they just previewed a Waspinator. They have a Rise of the Beast Bumblebee to go with the Prime. So yeah, they have some interesting stuff coming on the way, and I'm excited for all of it. Especially so if you're into the like super deformed stuff, you're absolutely gonna love these. I've even seen some people talking about how this won them over despite the super deformed look. You know, these are really great figures. They have very good quality, very nice engineering. This guy might not be the perfect example because he does, like, a lot of the individual bots are very similar in the engineering. Their Predaking definitely had more variation, but that really doesn't take anything away from it for me. It just makes it a little easier to remember all the steps. But yeah, I really do recommend this figure. I definitely think he is a ton of fun. But I think I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.